So today we're doing something a little bit different and throwing two giant monsters head to head. Kong versus Smaug. And just to be clear, these are the movie versions of these characters. So Kong from Kong Skull Island and Smaug from the Hobbit movies. So let's dive right on in. Now Kong is the bestial ruler of Skull Island in the form of a gigantic ape and the last one of its kind. Kong is incredibly fierce and brutal when angered or while in combat, but at the same time, he has a peaceful and protective side to him as well. This is seen when he befriends Mason Weaver and James Conrad, even going so far as to put himself in danger in order to save Mason from drowning. He's also rather intelligent, or at least smart enough to use weapons in combat, like a tree trunk as a staff, or a propeller of a ship as a melee weapon. Kong is massive, standing at 104 feet tall, and is incredibly strong, even despite not being fully grown. He's able to kill a mere squid with brute strength, can take out smaller skull crawlers with his punches, and can wrestle and pin down the alpha skull crawler to the ground with his strength. He's surprisingly quick for a creature of his size, as he's able to dodge a skull crawler attack from behind. His body's actually designed for flexibility, and those long arms of his allow him to deal devastating blows in combat. On top of that, he can leap incredibly high and is an expert climber, being able to easily scale up sheer cliffs and mountain faces. Kong is durable enough to withstand machine gun fire from military helicopters and attacks from skull crawlers. And his stamina is so great that even after battling against and killing the alpha skull crawler, he was able to walk away without any real signs of exhaustion. And in the other corner is Smaug. Now Smaug is one of the greatest dragons of all time, and decimated the dwarfs of the Lonely Mountain in the neighboring city of Dale, all so that he could hoard the massive treasures that had been amassed there. Now the first thing to realize is that Smaug is incredibly intelligent, maybe even more intelligent than men, and he's inherently malicious and cruel, if not straight out evil. He takes pleasure in psychologically torturing Bilbo, and even as he's burning down Lake Town, he still goes out of his way to mock Bard. He's incredibly ruthless, capable of committing mass genocide in order to achieve his goals, and he's very arrogant, as even the mention of weakness causes him to become visibly angry. He's very confident in his power, referring to himself as a weapon of destruction, but he more than backs it up. Smaug is massive, having been estimated to be upwards of 130 meters in length and larger than two jumbo jets. His large size gives him immense brute strength, as seen by being able to break through a mountain. His armored skin is nearly impenetrable, with his really only weakness being a missing scale near his chest. And obviously, being a dragon, Smaug can also fly and breathe fire. And I really want to focus on that fire breathing here for a second. Now it's very possible that Smaug can change the intensity of his fire breath depending on what the situation calls for. For instance, in the first movie, the fire seemed to be more liquid and like napalm, and had enough power to shatter stone buildings, while in the second film, Smaug's breath was a lot more like regular fire, kind of like a flamethrower. Regardless, his flames are so hot and powerful that a single breath was enough to reignite the great forges of Erebor. So who wins? Well, let's break it down. Now for starters, this battle will take place in an abandoned New York City, because you see, Smaug can fly, and if it took place in a wide open area, or even somewhere like Skull Island, that flight would be very hard to combat. But all the skyscrapers and diverse buildings in New York allow Kong to be able to climb and kind of combat that flying advantage. Plus, it limits Smaug's ability to do flybys. Basically, it levels the playing field a bit. Plus, it still allows Kong to use his environment to create weapons. Now, Kong has had no problem fighting aerial opponents before, as he easily took out the military helicopters and was actually incredibly accurate with the trees that he threw at them. However, those military helicopters have nothing on Smaug, and the dragon is just so much more flexible and faster than they are. But Smaug is so much larger, meaning that Kong is going to have a bigger target to hit. Basically, I guess what I'm trying to say is that Smaug's ability to fly is important, but it doesn't instantly put Kong out of the fight. I'd also put them at roughly comparable strength levels, even though Kong is not fully grown yet. However, Kong doesn't have any natural body armor and can get injured rather easily, unlike Smaug, who prides himself on his impenetrability and really truly only has one weak spot. So if they just had a straight up melee fight, I could see Kong doing pretty well and really easily holding his own. But the biggest factor in the fight, and what really gives Smaug the victory, is his ability to breathe fire. This is just the final nail in the coffin. I mean, Kong was momentarily knocked out by the fire and napalm explosions the Packard set up, so I cannot imagine that he would deal much better with a fire-breathing dragon like Smaug. So I gotta give Smaug the victory. But what do y'all think? I would love to hear your thoughts, so sound off in the comments down below. Also, be sure to subscribe on more videos just like this one every single week. See you next time.